making you happy to get their way. Are they using tips from Lucifer to organize America and the world? Saul Alinsky's book, Rules for Radicals, shares 13 tactics used by those who organize like this. The sixth tactic Alinsky writes about is, a good tactic is one that people enjoy. They are being nice to you and those they're organizing for a particular reason, an undermining reason. They want to be able to get their way. A dark reason for organizing. But guess what? We don't discuss just the dark aspects of that. We also discuss the light aspects and how to respond to it as Christians. Check it out. Be sure to subscribe and press alert to get new notifications of new success secrets made available on VFN TV. The sixth tactic is this. The sixth tactic from Rules for Radicals, then we're going to look at the light perspective of it in the last few moments we have left. The sixth tactic is, of its 13 tactics, is a good tactic is one your people enjoy. A good tactic is one your people enjoy. Think about it. Okay, we're going to destroy everything as we know it. A third of the angels are going to be destroyed. We're going to destroy what God has done out here as he delivered his people out of Egypt. Mm-hmm. You know, we got to, it's like, you know why? The reason why is because they're being driven by their flesh. They're being driven by, their own enticements. Mm-hmm. And so they have to enjoy it because it's not real. It's all, it's all made up. And I was listening to Marshall Gantz talk to Bill Moyer on the Bill Moyer and Company show, which you can see on the VFN Torch. Go to VFNTV.com and click on the torch, and you can get access to watch that. That he says we had to constantly keep changing our tactics because they wear out. They just end quickly. So they're a new one and a new one and a new one. That's what Satan does. He's like, okay, this didn't do it. How about this? Mm-hmm. How about this? How about this? And he keeps a carrot before your flesh to keep you going. Okay, how about healthcare? How about benefits? How about a cell phone? How about this? How about that? How about this? There's all these things are just happening continually going on. Or, one more negotiating meeting. One more. We'll just negotiate one more time about this. How about this? This keeps us like stop. And but the reason why is that the people, the reason why the people have to enjoy the sixth tactic is because it's totally driven by the flesh. It's Lucifer is all flesh. He does not. It's not about your spirit. It's about a demonic spirit leading. And so, in the context of that, that means you have to have flesh things. Right. I know that when Occupy Wall Street was out on the in Manhattan, there was all kinds of things happening in the context of that. But it makes me think though about what God said specifically about being organized and God, during a time of a 7-day fast and prayer, that God revealed through Tracy about what was going to happen as if we allow ourselves to be organized, then it's not going to end up well. All of a sudden, we're going to morph into this thing. And so we have to pay attention. God's people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. So understand this. You're hearing knowledge. Now, what is the light perspective of this? Well, first of all, offer your body as a living sacrifice. Romans chapter 12, verse 1 and 2. Offer your body as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your spiritual act of worship. Do not conform any longer to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. What does that mean? Okay, a good tactic is one that people enjoy. Mm-hmm. Well, it depends. If your spirit's enjoying it, it's one thing. But if your flesh is the one that's enjoying it, in the context of going against the ways of God, that ain't good. That's right. So if your flesh is uncomfortable, that doesn't necessarily mean you're not moving in obedience to God and God's not pleased with you. Mm-hmm. You could be being commended. I mean, think about Paul and Silas being beat, stoned, laying on rock piles after trying to bring the light into a city. And that this is commendable. I mean, I don't want it to happen, but understand that just because this is what this society believes right now. It's been taught. It's flesh messages from the podiums. Mm-hmm. Flesh messages is like, I'm gonna tell you how to get more money and how to get more stuff and how to blame people for your sin and how to give you music. 80% of worship, according to George Barnett, 80% of the people surveyed, regular church attenders, say that worship is about them. Give me some songs that make my flesh feel good. And it's like, that's a very easy people. By the way, you're very vulnerable to being organized. You're very vulnerable to being organized if you're driven by your
maybe
flesh.
You are.
And so you have to be so careful that if you're leading God's people, and if they're driven by their flesh, you can be very careful not to make any decisions that you know for a fact that they're following what you're doing, what you're saying, because their flesh is following it, because you're actually leading them into darkness, and you're okay with it.
Right.
You should be able to teach them carefully in loving way, speak the truth and love the truth, the light, and give them the choice that they're going to follow the light or they're going to follow darkness. But if you get them to follow their flesh, they're going to be led right straight to destruction, because the flesh counts for nothing. And so in regards to this tactic here, it makes you think of what it's going to be like and is like in 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 through 5. He says, but mark this. This is what Paul's writing to Timothy, spiritual son. But mark this. There will be terrible times in the last days. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of benefits, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of good, treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power. And this is what Paul tells Timothy, and this is what God's telling us about these folks. Have nothing to do with them. Have nothing to do with them. The sixth tactic for the Alinsky models, for all of Alinsky's children's rules for radicals, taught by our president for 4 years. He wasn't president during that time he was teaching it. A thesis written by Hillary Clinton, who reportedly wanted to be the next president. The sixth tactic is this. Of the 13 tactics, a good tactic is one that your people enjoy. Lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God. Jesus said, if you love God, you obey God. Right. Jesus said in John chapter 15, he said, I've set the example. I've remained in the light. I've remained in the Father. I stayed obedient to the Father so that my love can be complete. Now I'm telling you how your love can be complete. Remain in obedience. Remain in love. True love of God is a desire to follow him. This is what he says. If you're really my disciple, if you're disciples of the light, guess what? You walk in the light and you follow the light. That's the light of God's word. Be sure to subscribe and press alert to get new notifications of new success secrets made available on VFN TV. You know, a lot of people want to abide with the Lord, but they just don't have a plan to do it. You can request that plan today at iabide.org. I'm your host, Greg Lancaster, and we're so glad that you've joined us. Don't forget you can join us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download our app and sign up for our newsletter, The Torch, at vfnkb.com. I've enjoyed our time together. God bless.